The first time I saw him smile was the night I was supposed to leave him. It wasn't the kind of smile you expect from a man who everyone swore had no heart. It was quiet, almost trembling, like he was afraid it might break if it stayed too long. I had heard all the warnings before I married Vincent Hale. People in the city liked their gossip served hot, and Vincent was a 5-course meal. They said he was cold, ruthless, impossible to please. A man who closed deals like breaking bones, who could make grown men cry with a single word. But they never mentioned the way he ran his thumb over my knuckles when he thought no one was watching. Or how he made tea for me in the mornings, too hot to drink but exactly how I liked it. We met in the most unromantic place imaginable, the courthouse. I was a junior paralegal, buried under stacks of evidence files, and he was the defendant's legal consultant in a high-profile corporate case. He barely looked at me that first day, his gaze fixed on the papers in front of him, but I noticed the precision in his movements, the calm that seemed to settle in the room when he spoke. Vincent didn't talk to people, he handled them. Yet, for reasons I still can't explain, he called me by my first name the second time we met. Back then, I thought that was the start of something. Turns out it was the start of everything. Our marriage was the kind of thing you don't plan, not in the traditional sense. There was no proposal on bended knee, no diamond ring in a velvet box. Instead, there was a desperate business deal, a marriage contract that bound us together for 3 years, and a thin gold band that felt heavier than it looked. At first, I thought I could live with the arrangement. Vincent was civil, sometimes distant, but never unkind. We lived in the same apartment but orbited around each other like planets that shared the same sun but never touched. But New York has a way of sharpening loneliness until it cuts. Nights stretched long and quiet, filled with the sound of him typing in his office and the faint hum of the refrigerator. And I started to wonder if maybe everyone was right about him. It was the night of our 6-month anniversary when the first real fight happened. I'd made dinner something simple, pasta and a bottle of wine, and waited for him. He came home past midnight, smelling faintly of rain and expensive whiskey. "You could have called," I said, my voice tight. "I was working," he replied, as if that explained everything. "It's always work with you, Vincent. Do you even see me in this marriage?" He didn't answer right away, just stood there, looking at me like I was a puzzle missing half its pieces. And then, without a word, he walked past me into his office. I went to bed that night hating him, or maybe hating myself for thinking I could ever matter to him. It was a fever that changed everything. Mine, to be exact. A week later, I woke up shivering so hard my teeth hurt, the room tilting whenever I tried to sit up. I don't even remember calling out, but suddenly Vincent was there, crouched beside the bed, his hand against my forehead. "You're burning up," he said, his voice stripped of its usual calm. For the next 2 days he barely left my side. He made soup badly, but the effort was there and pressed cool cloths to my skin. He read to me from a book I was too tired to follow, his voice low and steady. At some point, when I stirred awake in the middle of the night, I found his hand still wrapped around mine, his head resting against the mattress. That was the first time I realized something. The man everyone called cruel wasn't heartless. He just didn't know how to show the parts of himself that mattered. Not until someone was too weak to run away. From then on, I started noticing the smaller things. The way he'd slip an extra muffin into my coffee order. How he'd adjust my scarf on windy mornings. We still argued sometimes bitterly, but there was a thread of something new running through our fights now. Something fragile and dangerous. One rainy evening, I came home soaked and irritable, only to find him in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, cooking. "Dinner's almost ready," he said, without looking up. "I thought you hated cooking," I replied. "I do, but you like it when I try." It was ridiculous how much that sentence hurt in the best possible way. By the second year, the line between contract and marriage had blurred so much I couldn't tell where one ended and the other began. Then came the day I found the signed termination papers on his desk, our marriage, ready to be undone the moment either of us said the word. I confronted him that night. "So that's it?" I asked. 2 years. And you can just walk away?" He didn't answer. Instead, he crossed the room, stopping just inches from me. I was waiting, he said softly, to see if you'd ask me to stay. And then damn him, he smiled. That same trembling smile from the night I was supposed to leave. I didn't leave. I didn't even try. Because the truth was, behind closed doors, Vincent wasn't cruel. He was the man who learned to hold me like I was something worth keeping. He was the man who burned soup but kept trying. He was the man who, without saying it, had been asking me every day if I'd stay, and I finally had my answer. So I kissed him, slow and certain, and we locked the door. Because some things the world doesn't need to see. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.